Hey guys, subscribe for daily content. And if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got a short little knife review slash overview to share with you guys. This is the Kansept Mini Korvid in titanium. Wow! Now before we get the, who would ever spend that much on such a teeny tiny little knife? Before you do that, everybody knows, all right? Nobody's going to take this thing seriously. Kansept doesn't take it seriously. It's supposed to be fun. Yeah, it's kind of expensive, but I think everybody knows that, while generally speaking, in the knife world with these materials, right, on paper you think, wow, about $100 sounds like a pretty good deal. And then you see the size of it, and then all of a sudden it's like, that thing's a ripoff. But we have to remember that this is mostly a humorous object, so I'm going to view it that way. So anyways, I thought I'd play some damage mitigation before I let everybody know that there is in fact a link for this right down in the description if you so choose to humor yourself with it. Thanks so much to Kansept for sending this in for me to take a look at. Thanks to my generous patrons for supporting me. There's a link for Patreon right down below. And please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. This is essentially the same thing as the, the less expensive Mini Korvid, which is in 154 cm, I think, and G10. It's just not a liner lock. It's a titanium frame lock, and it's in a more premium CPM S35VN steel. I'll go ahead and measure it real quick and do some size comparisons. Outside of that, though, if you want a more detailed, look at all the specs and things like that, you can check out the original review. It's not even 4 inches, 3.75, just a little, maybe 3.8 inches overall. The blade length is definitely going to be legal in a lot of places. 1.5, maybe a little over 1.5 inches, and then your cutting edge is a little under 1.5 inches. Just a couple of size comparisons today. Put it up against the Ontario Rad Model 1. Wow! And the Ontario Rad Model 2. Wow, right? Yeah, I could have done this. People be like, well, it's up against the Rat 1, right? Yeah, so it's freaking huge. How about just a couple more? We'll do the Spyderco Para 3 on top today. And the Benchmade Bug Out. You guys, is that enough? Have we established that the knife is small? Yes. How's the action? There's a good chance you're going to throw it. There's a good chance you're going to drop it, right? But that being said, it does actually work. You can flip it. You can, the last time I tried to do this, didn't work out too well. You can front flip it. And you can reverse flick it. Yeah. Yeah. It's very tiny, so it's not comfortable to do that. It's one of those things that it's just funny that it exists, right? It was hilarious that it existed in G10 and 154 cm, and it's even more hilarious that it exists in titanium and S35VN. Likely when these are gone, they will be gone, right? I mean, this is just a silly thing. I think it's fun when, here's the funny thing, regardless of how you feel about the price, this is not an inexpensive thing to make. But small thing equals small price. I'm mixing Hank Hill with my caveman voice. Small knife equals small price. Yeah, I mean, no, but that's where our brains go, right? It probably was not, I mean, compared to like other stuff that they do, it probably was slightly less expensive or maybe a little less expensive because it's less material, but they still have to, they still have to create it. They still have to like take the raw materials and turn them into this, right? And then heat treat the blade and all of that. So yeah, it's just funny that the final product is something that is so humorous and kind of, I mean, it'll cut, but it's kind of useless, right? That's what we're looking at here, just to drive that point home. Quality-wise, yeah, all the way around, it's very good. It's what you'd expect from Kansept. I have no issue with their fit and finish or anything like that. Lockout is actually good. Should we do the spine whack test? I need to make sure that it's strong for when I, when I do this in real life. Yeah, it's plenty. Should we do it on like a block of wood? I'm actually doing it pretty hard now. Putting dents in the wood, okay? I don't know if I trust that lock. Metal Complex. Can you put it in a vise and beat on it with a sledgehammer? I need to know. Well, it's not important, but my, real life usage will be... I need to know before I take this thing out and put it up against the Larry test or whoever you are. Yeah, the lock will hold. It's great. So there you go, people who needed to know that. Should we weigh it? Yeah, why not? Oh wait, you know what would be funny? Did they mill it out? No, I'd have laughed though. The weight on this guy is coming in at 1.52 ounces. So, not much argument there. Much more likely to forget about it if it's in your pocket. So, check your pockets before you wash your pants. What else should we do? Hardware check? I don't know if that's really important. T8 pivot, T6 body screws. If you really want to take it apart, you can do that. So, yeah. I like this. I think it's funny when, knife companies do things like this because the other one, the XL Korvid, is a monstrously massive knife that is also, it's obviously more useful, but it's also kind of useless in a lot of ways because it's so big. I kind of like that, Kansept is willing to take this approach to almost troll knife enthusiasts, right? And those of us who kind of get that it's a joke have fun with it, and it ends up making us want to buy it, right? I can't deny I would have been tempted even if they had not sent me one for free. I'll sort of reiterate what I said on the live stream, and, because they already have a giant one. I think they should make a really, truly massive one. And I don't mean just like the size of the XL Korvid. I think they should make it like unnecessarily thick, like the PMP Alpha B is probably not that thick, but it'd be funny if they did like a 1/4 inch on the spine and maybe 3/16 on the titanium and just made this massive hulking Medford-sized version of that chopper. Yes, it would be useless or close to useless, and yes, it would be extremely expensive. But people will buy it because it's funny, right? The people who are buying these things are not going, there's definitely some sort of very specific tactical use or tactical role that this knife fits in, and, it's very applicable in my day-to-day life, right? No, we're buying it because we're like, small knife, funny, but made with good materials that I like, so okay, whatever, right? That's what we do with our money with normal knives anyway, right? Normal knives. Yeah. I doubt this will continue to be a flagship, thing. Not a flagship, but it's just like a continuous model for them. I think it'll just be here for a little bit, then it'll be gone. But I think, it puts stuff like this puts a positive light on companies like Kansept because, these are made in China. Sure, think what you will about that. But it makes me at least look at companies like Kansept and go, they're having fun with this. These are knife people, right? Yeah, they're trying to make a buck, right? They're trying to sell to us, just like any other company's trying to do. But they're also having fun, right? It's cool. And I've had a good experience with the folks that I've spoken with at Kansept. Obviously, they send me stuff. If you don't know, yeah, I do get free knives periodically. Try to give most of that stuff away. This guy will definitely be a giveaway knife on a live stream or something like that. But yeah, they're nice and they like to kind of play around. They do some, utilitarian, some serious stuff. They've got some pretty good prices. And then they do some freaking absolutely ridiculous stuff. And it's kind of fun, right? They do some stuff that I don't understand, like the Batcat Demon knife, right? Yeah, it's fun, right? The knife world does not need to be this ultra serious, tactical, super ninja, Dragon Clan level 10 kind of thing all the time. Because remember, you're just sitting there on your couch flipping it over and over and over again, waiting for your Amazon packages that have more knives in them so you can cut them open with your knife so you can get your knife. That's what you're doing, right? People say there, I feel called out right now. How does he know that I don't have a mission to infiltrate the structure behind my local supermarket later? You don't. You don't have a mission. You're just watching knife content on YouTube. So let's call it like it is. The knife world, it can be a humorous place. Why not have some humorous knives? So yeah, I'm glad this exists. I hope they keep doing funny stuff. I think making teeny weeny tiny knives and ridiculously oversized knives is awesome, and I hope they do it. Obviously, I want them to keep making, you know, practical, normal size stuff, but this is fun, right? Other things you guys might want to see is it's centered. Yes, it is centered. How does the blade look as far as like the final cutting bevel, right? How does it look? Looks great. Is it thin behind the edge? Well, no, it isn't. Will it slice? Believe it or not, yeah, it will. It's not a practical blade shape. A cleaver is not a very practical blade shape, even if it is a normal size. But will it slice? Sure. It's more kind of tearing. I mean, it's slicing, but you can see the lips of the paper, right? That's just, you know, a thick geometry is going to do that. But yeah, it'll slice, sure. But, you know, this is the kind of cutting experience you're going to have, right? If you do grape surgery day to day, this is not your knife. Not at all. I'm sure they make grape surgery blades, but it's not this. They come in a couple of different forms. This one's kind of like it looks bronze, but it's actually the standard just tumbled one. I think they've got some cool little anodized ones. The funny thing to me is how much detail, how much work they you know, did on the actual blade. We've got a nice satin finish. We've got satin polish in the fuller, right? We have this sort of nose swedge. The cutting bevel is actually even on both sides, which is really impressive. Let's take a look up here, and you can see, I think probably if we zoom in, we can see the, Cook Tools, which is actually a very familiar name here on YouTube, if you're not familiar with that. He's done a lot of design work in the knife world, so that's cool. I think I missed that on the last video. It says S35VN and then Kansept on this side. The funny thing is that all of the text is so small, it's not really in the way. You hardly notice it unless we zoom all the way in. It doesn't have a pocket clip. Oh no, you know, darn it. You can buy one of those keychain pocket clips off of eBay if you really want to. I think you get titanium for 10 or 20 bucks. You know, or you could just, this is the type of thing that you throw in like a junk drawer or you leave on like your desk, right? It's just kind of like a funny letter opener or just like something. If you have nothing else, like, yeah, it'll definitely cut into a package. And apparently it's durable enough that the thing's not going to disengage, right? It's not, this isn't a serious cutting tool, right? It's just meant for light duty stuff. So I think it's neat. I think it's funny. I think that a lot of people will enjoy it. And it's $100. It's also, it's only $100. But it's $100. But it's only $100. You know what I mean? That's kind of, that's a dilemma, right? Because that caveman part of me is going, small knife, it doesn't, I don't understand, right? I think this is probably a good place to end the video. Here it is. This exists. If you like it, there's a link down in the description. If you don't like it, I promise if you move on with your day, it won't change a single thing. Thanks again to Kansept for sending this in for me to take a look at. I will absolutely give this away on a live stream at some point. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like. So check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on the Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.